In this video, I'm gonna be answering 10 of your questions that I chose very carefully. Comment number 1, it comes from Savamaster5498. Hello coach, how much upper body work do I have to do for football? Is 3 sets of 20 push-ups enough? When it comes to improving your upper body strength, in football specifically, you don't necessarily need to be the biggest football player. When I say this, I mean that yes, you have to work hard. You have to do push-ups, you have to do sit-ups, you have to do all those exercises that can strengthen your body a little bit. However, you need to be very careful because as a football player, if you want to be agile, if you want to be fast, you need to do this with science behind it. It would take a whole video for me to actually explain how it works, but simply I can say is instead of working out your upper body with heavier weights, do it with lighter weights but more repetitions. So instead of, if you're gonna work out with 20 kilograms, work out with 10 kilograms but do 10 more reps. More importantly, when it comes to working out your body, especially upper body, in football, the most important thing is your core. So focus really strongly on your abs and your back, which is gonna give you the most advantage when you're playing football. The next question comes from Lil Jimmy 454. Just want to ask for wingers. Is trying to be flashy and doing flashy skills necessarily gonna make you way better and more amazing player than a player who just dribbles and crosses and just makes creative passes? First of all, you have to know your priority. As a winger, I always say that positional knowledge, positional awareness is incredibly important. So you need to know when you need to make the inverted runs, you need to know when to make wide runs. So you need to acknowledge your communication and connection with your fullback. So this kind of stuff, first of all, is your number one priority if you want to be a good winger. Yes, if you're outside playing with your friends, you can be flashy, that's all fine. But when it comes to playing the official games, it's more important that you know these basics. You know when to make the runs inside, when to make wide runs, instead of focusing on how flashy can you be, how technical you can be with your dribbling skills, scissors and all that stuff. Focus on these basics first. You gotta think of it this way. What is the main goal of a winger? Is to provide for the strikers, right? So first of all, your crosses has to be incredibly well. So you need to be able to aim and target your strikers whenever you want to. Or if you are playing an inverted winger, which if you're a right-footed winger, you're probably playing on the left wing, now you need to be able to make the cuts inside, find opportunities to shoot and score. So these are the things that you have to master before focusing on if you need to be flashy or not. Because if you master the basics like this first, then you can always add stuff on top of it. Then you can do fancy dribbling skills. Question number 3 comes from one of my favorite subscribers who has been with me almost from the day one, and he has been commenting under all of my videos. It's from Daksh7. Brother, I play CM and I want to know how pros prepare mentally. And another question. On rest days, we recover physically, not mentally. How to recover mentally? It's an excellent question. As I always say, the mental game is as important how talented you are. So you need to know how to recover mentally and you need to know how to prepare yourself for the next game. Not every game that you play is gonna be excellent. We all have that. Not every game that you are just going out there and scoring so many goals. Some games you'll play terrible, some games you'll play really good. You need to be able to recover from those bad days, bad games, right? This is probably the most challenging part of playing football. How can you recover and how can you forget about yesterday? This is when pro and amateur really kind of weighs in. Because the pros will do so many bad things, but they will forget everything they just did. So they can recover and they can be better for the next game. So the best way to do this is to not put too much pressure on yourself. Because yes, you're gonna have a bad game. Everybody has a bad game. So you need to be able to switch, forget about yesterday, maybe remember the mistakes, but you can always think of it as a positive, not negative. Okay, I screwed up yesterday's game, but what can I learn from those? What can I do to improve those mistakes so I don't make those same mistakes again the next game? Fourth question is from Dave's Mirror Essay. Is positioning the most important aspect for a fullback. In my opinion, positioning is the most important aspect to every position, including the goalkeeper. You need to know exactly where to be, when to be. But how can you improve this positioning? Well, first of all, you can watch my videos because I have positioning videos for every position except goalkeeper, which the video will be coming out soon. I'm working on a goalkeeper video. The positioning is the most important thing because if you don't know where to be, when to be, you're gonna be struggling and you're gonna be wasting so much energy on the pitch. It's the most important thing because you have to conserve energy when you're playing the game. No matter what position you are, you need to know how to conserve energy. And the best way to conserve energy is to know where to be, when to be, so you are not making unnecessary runs. So you can show your skills. So if you're a fullback, you can do your defending and you can do your overlapping and crosses. If you are running too much, if you don't know your position, if you're struggling with this, now you're not where you're supposed to be and you're gonna be struggling to keep up with your position's roles. And the question number 5 is from one of my member of my channel, who is Michael Shrives 9146. Can you name any top slower wingers so we can look at how they play? This is kind of a big topic because playing as a winger, yes, it's kind of obvious, as I always say, making inverted runs, making wide runs, but if you're a slow winger, you're gonna be playing completely different. When it comes to a top level slow wingers, because I'm a Fenerbahce fan, I watch the right winger who plays for Fenerbahce, Dusan Tadic. He plays this role very well, where he's almost like a wide attacking midfielder and wide striker, maybe a little bit, right in between. Because you don't have the speed as a slow winger, now what happens is you can't be very fast with the ball, so most likely you're gonna be receiving the ball on your feet. So when this is happening, now you're gonna have to use your body to be able to protect the ball really well in front of you. And some of the good players, as I said, Dusan Tadic, and back in my day, on his prime, Robert Pires from France, who played for Arsenal, was one of the great examples to a slow winger. Question number 6 is from Austin Randon, XS1VL. How can I work on my first touch? Well, I have many first touch videos, which I will be dropping the link right up here somewhere, and you can click and you can watch how to improve your first touch. But the most important thing is repetitions and training hard. A good first touch comes with anticipating when the ball is gonna come to you and how the ball is gonna come to you, how fast the ball is gonna come to you. Of course, the best way to improve your first touch, have a friend go to a field and pass each other. Give each other those challenging passes. But if you do not have a friend, then your best option is to find a wall and try passing back and forth. Give yourself challenging balls, hard balls, so you are anticipating how fast the ball is coming to you and you're anticipating your legs move to when you need to connect with the ball to be able to stop the ball right in front of you, or how you can turn with your first touch, how can you protect the ball when the ball is coming to you. I also have a couple of tools that I'm gonna drop the link in the description where you can find and you can work on your first touch with these tools. One of them is quite expensive, but then the other one that I bought off Amazon was quite cheap and actually really good if you're alone, where it gives you the rebound effect and then the ball comes quite unpredictable, so it's good for you to improve your first touch. The question number 7 comes from Dynamo YouTube. How can I know whether I should pass the ball, dribble it, or make a run with it wide on receiving it as a winger? This is exactly when I answered the previous winger question that we had. When you're playing the winger position, there you have zones. Yes, you have more freedom as a winger, you have more freedom to dribble, you have more freedom to take your time and hold the ball a bit longer, but this all depends where you're on the pitch and how much pressure you're getting. If you are constantly getting pressure as a winger, it's always better to release it and make a run into a space. So space meaning probably in behind the fullback, or if you're making the inverted run, now you're making the inverted run without the ball, so you can create space for your overlapping fullback. But ideally, centrally, you want to release it as quick as possible as a winger. Because if you're central and if you're not releasing the ball, now you being the winger, probably one of the most talented players on the pitch or the fastest players on the pitch, now we can't find you in the most dangerous areas, which is near the 18, right? The longer you play with the ball in the central area, the less likely that you're gonna be in the dangerous zones. So the quicker you release in the central zones, now you can make the run in the 18 to the most dangerous areas. Now I can find you in the dangerous zones, right? So your goal should be always, how can you receive the ball in the dangerous zone? So the quicker you can release the ball centrally, quicker we can find you near the 18 when you receive the ball. Yes, you can take more risks and try to create more opportunities for your team. And the next question, number 8, also comes from one of my long-time subscriber, CRZone70. And the question is, I hope you know I'm a winger, but I'm planning to play as a striker as well, as left winger, so that I can find best for myself. I'm doing this because in football, what I like the most is scoring goals, also a ton of goals. I want to play as a striker, but I consider you as my teacher. So what are your thoughts about what should I do? When it comes to choosing your position, it really depends on your comfort level. The difference between playing as a striker and playing as a winger is massive. As a striker, you're not gonna receive the ball as much, and when you receive the ball, you're not gonna have as much time. If you're considering to play striker, you have to consider, are you patient enough to play this position? Because as a winger, you're gonna have lots of time, you're gonna be able to receive the ball, you're gonna be able to hold the ball a bit longer, but when you're playing striker, you need to play with tons of patience. And you also need to be a bit stronger physically to hold the ball in front of you when you have the defenders behind you, because you're gonna be getting that constant pressure. So which one are you? Are you comfortable? Are you patient enough to play the striker position? Or should you stay as a winger where you can have more freedom, receive the ball and have more time on the ball to be able to create the game? The question number 9 comes from Benzail. As a right-footed player, which position is better, right wing or left wing? This is a complicated topic because if you are a right-footed winger, you can play on both sides. You can play on the right wing, you can play on the left wing, but you're gonna be playing completely different roles. Because if you're right-footed and if you're playing on the right wing, now you're focusing more on running with the ball wide, so you can actually cross the ball inside. So basically your job, if you're a right-footed right winger, you're providing for your striker. Out swings and just cross as much as you can to your strikers or attacking midfielder, whoever is coming in the 18 to score. But if you are playing left winger, yes, you still probably gonna be crossing the ball once in a while, but most importantly, your inverted runs are incredibly important. So this really depends how your coach wants your team to play. If you are playing with the fullbacks that constantly overlaps, it's probably better that you play on the left wing as a right-footed winger, because you're now naturally cutting inside because you're right-footed, so you can shoot. At the same time, you're opening up a space for your left fullback to overlap and support your team's attack. Most likely, your left fullback will be making those crosses instead of you, where you're gonna be, if you receive the ball or without the ball, you can make the runs inside and try to score. But you have to remember, when your fullback overlaps, you cannot forget about the defending duties, where you're gonna have to drop sometimes to cover for your overlapping fullbacks. And the question number 10, the last question, comes from Goxion4872. Coach, I'm from India. How can I connect with foreign clubs? The best way to do this is to record your game. Don't miss a second, record every game. If you record your games, now you have a portfolio where you can create yourself a resume. Because when you are finding the connections outside of India, outside of your country, or if you're in the other country, United States, Canada, wherever you are, you need to have a portfolio to be able to send out to the coaches. And the best way to do this is to record your games, how much you run in a game, how often do you score, how often do you assist if you're attacker, or if you're a defender, how many clean sheets you got. So this kind of stuff is very important. And I'm gonna drop a link in the description where you can actually go and find this Xbox Go where I've been using it for my games. No matter how old you are, I think you should record your games as a memory or as a resume. Maybe you can find cheaper options somewhere else, some other brands, but I find I have a pretty good luck with the Xbox Go to record my games. They're actually quite expensive no matter what brand you're looking at, so you're gonna have to look which one works best for you. When it comes to the connections specifically, you can go on LinkedIn and find the coaches there and try to send out your resume. And if they get a hold of you, maybe now they might be interested on looking at your profile, maybe looking at your portfolio that you just prepared for yourself. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to drop a comment, because you know me, I will answer your questions. If you're a member to my channel, I guarantee you your questions will definitely be answered, whether in a video or in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video. This video was specifically for you. Please drop a like, subscribe to my channel with the notifications on. You can find my playlist right over here. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next time.